What's good, folks? It's your boy ZTR, and I'm back with a video. And then I'm gonna basically, this is gonna go towards my social media friends and family, the people who have talked to me like I'm crazy. They think I'm crazy because I think that Steph Curry is better than LeBron James. But I'm here to basically break down and tell you why Steph Curry is better than LeBron as of now. Because again, both of these men have 4 NBA championships, both of them. Okay, but I'm gonna explain what makes Steph Curry the better captain, the better leader, as you will say. And I'm not taking nothing from LeBron. This is not about LeBron James being a father. This is not about what he does outside the court. This ain't about him being a billionaire. I'm critiquing LeBron James on an NBA level, on a championship level, okay? Because he is a captain. He's a team captain just like Curry. Now remember, these two have faced each other 4 years in a row, okay? With Steph beating him 3 out of 1. But the fact that Steph has won a 4th championship, I'm gonna tell you why Steph is now putting the pressure on LeBron James. Now, as you look here, and I'm sorry this is small, but I'm doing the best I can. Now this is regular season and playoffs. Look at that, 22 wins compared to LeBron James 16. Right? Look at it, 7-9 regular season. Playoffs 15-7. Okay, so again, like LeBron James is beating him out in certain categories. Yes, LeBron James got amazing size. He could do a lot more than Steph Curry does, but I judge these people based on their roster, based on what team did they play with to get to a championship. Okay, I'm judging them based on who was on their roster. Okay, who did they stick it out with? Who they make better? Now let's get to this notion, because this notion that LeBron James ain't had no help, that's a lie. That's a lie. Okay. For one, let's look at this roster here. Now, this is I'm gonna review all the LeBron James rosters, and then we're gonna look at Steph Curry's. Okay. Now, look at that. This is his 2007 roster. This is the roster he had when he faced San Antonio. Now, let me break down this roster, because a lot of people think I'm just like y'all say you don't have help, but there's a lot of people who ain't been watching LeBron James. Now, let's look at Exhibit A. Now, Eric Stowe was already a veteran point guard. He had help. Eric Stowe was the backup behind Gary Payton in that '96 finals when they faced Jordan. Then he was also the starting point guard with Allen Iverson when they faced the Lakers in 2001. This was Eric Stowe's 3rd NBA Finals appearance. Okay, Eric Stowe could get the job done for you. This man here was also savvy. David Wesley, even though he's one of the shortest guys in the league, he was very fast. Okay, he can hit. Drew Gunning was pretty much another Carlos Boozer. This guy here, Zydrunas, he was the 2nd tallest player in the league. That man was 7'3". There's nobody else going to out-rebound Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Behind Yao Ming, again, he was the 2nd tallest. You talking about crash boards, second chance opportunities, Zydrunas was going to give you that. Anderson Varejao, one of the better international players. Like behind Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, Anderson Varejao was up there. And Varejao had the defense. He had good perimeter shooting. He was definitely better than Kwame Brown. Again, man, I understand Kwame Brown be talking about folks and this and that and other, but again, this guy was way more. This guy was athletic. Anderson Varejao. Varejao will get you rebounds. He'll make a play when you need him to. Larry Hughes was a superstar shooting guard. Larry could get down. Larry was no scrub at all. Larry had handles for days. See, young folks ain't gonna remember Larry Hughes. Larry Hughes was around when I was in middle school. Remember, this was Rip Hamilton's teammate in Washington. Michael Jordan came back when he was a Washington Wizard to play with the Wizards to teach Larry Hughes and Rip Hamilton how to win games. And that's actually paid off, because Rip Hamilton helped the Pistons get to 2 NBA Finals back-to-back. 2004, 2005, this man helped LeBron James get to the finals. So Michael Jordan's mentorship and him playing and teaching him how to play the game, that worked out well. Sasa Pavlovich was also another shooter. Okay? No, this man had help. Again, to disrespect these players is not fair at all. You take away from what they did. Now let's look at their record. Let's look at the Cavs of 2007 record. See, I'm somebody who does real research. Look at that. 50 and 32. This was a 50-win team. They was a second seed in the playoffs. I want y'all to look at this real quick, right? Now the Miami Heat, they were the previous champions. That team got swept by the Bulls that had Ben Gordon, Luol Deng. I believe Ben Wallace was down there. And you had Kurt Heinrich. But again, this was defending champs. Look at the Raptors. Now this was the Chris Bosh-led Toronto Raptors. Okay? I think it was Chris Bosh, Jose Calderon. I think you also had, if I'm not mistaken, you also had Jared Jack down there. Or I think this might have been before. Yeah, this was before Jared Jack. Yeah, Jared Jack, I think was in, Jared Jack was still in Portland. But yeah, I think you had Calderon, you had Bosh, you had Jason Capono. But look at this Cavalier team. This is one of the more, they were competitive. They were competing. This was a Mike Brown coached Cavalier team. But the issue is, again, he lost to the Spurs. Now, let's look at the Spurs. Let's look at the Spurs record, right? Look at Spurs, third seed. So, they were a better team than the Spurs slightly. Says the Spurs had 58 wins. Yeah, no, Spurs was the better team. They were a third seed, but they was a second seed in the East. But look at who the Spurs had to come across, right? Mavericks, defending Western Conference champions. I believe this was the year they lost to this was the year they lost to Golden State that was led by Baron Davis. They got put out by Baron Davis, and this was the year of the upset. Because just as Miami got upset by Chicago, this team lost to a Baron Davis, Steven Jackson, and Monte Ellis led Golden State Warriors team. But look at the Lakers. Now, this is the Lakers that had Kwame Brown, Kobe Bryant, and they had Lamar Odom with Smush Parker, that team. They lost to the Phoenix Suns. You had Carmelo Anthony on the Nuggets. The Rockets had T-Mac and McGrady. Utah had Darren Williams. Andre Kirilenko, Carlos Boozer. You had Mehmet Okur and Ronnie Brewer and Kyle Korver. Well, not even Kyle Korver yet. It was Ronnie Brewer because Kyle Korver didn't show up yet. But yeah, that's who the Spurs had to take on. But they was a third seed. Okay, but now let's look at the Spurs roster. Because I'm gonna show you, man. Like, and this is why I rank Tim Duncan as high as I do. Let's see. Let's take a look at their roster. Let's see. The Spurs 2007 roster. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the 06-07 roster, right? Now I want you to take a look at this, right? Brent Barry was a veteran. Matt Bonner was young, but Bruce Bowen was a shooter, right? Jackie Butler, got Tim Duncan. Duncan has been around for all of the Spurs championships. Look at Franco Ellison, Melvin Ely. Michael Finley was an older guy too. But look at Manu Ginobili. Now Robert Horry was old. This is Robert Horry when he was on his way out. You had Roberto, Tony Parker, you had Bino Udrich, Jackie Vaughn, and James White. This Spurs team is not as good as the one he had when he had Kawhi Leonard. The team he had with David Robinson, Steve Jackson, they were way better than this team. But again, all Tim Duncan had was Ginobili and Parker. That's all he really needed. That was the big three. Okay? So again, there's no excuses for that. The Spurs swept them because they had the more experienced team. But again, the Cavs was a 50-win team. I just showed y'all that. Now, let's look at his 2010 roster. Well, let's look at the 2010 roster before we finish. Let's take a look at the 2010 roster. Okay? Because again, this man has had plenty of help. All this man don't have help, that's a lie. Like, I don't understand this. Looking at Mo Williams, right? Now look at Mo Williams. One of the better guards is 20. Look at Raymond Sessions, 24. Daniel Gibson was still there. He was young. Now, this is Anthony Parker. This was Candace Parker's older brother. Again, was a sniper, automatic shooter, right? You had Jamario Moon, Jordan Graham, Danny Green. Okay? Again, we've seen Danny Green win championships. Okay? There was nothing wrong with Danny Green. You had veteran Antoine Jameson. Look at that. J.J. Hicks and Leon Powe. Now, Leon Powe won a championship with the Boston Celtics when he came over there. Okay? When he was over there, yeah, he had won a championship. This is Leon Powe. You still had Aaron Savage, you had Ron Hollins, and then you had yeah, this was the season. All right, this is the 2011. Let me see where is this 2010 roster? Okay, that was the year, but that was the year after. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So yeah, that's the 2011. I don't know why they're not showing the 2010 roster. Let me see. Let's look at the 2010 roster. Just before because this is the team that couldn't beat the Celtics. They were good. Like, they had no excuses. They took Boston in like 7 games. You know, I don't all that he didn't have help. I'm not getting that at all. They trying to stop me from. Let's see. And look at that, Mike Brown, right? Again, 61-21. Mike Brown won Coach of the Year that season. 61-21. They finished first in their division. Again, so let's look at roster. Okay, so look, you got Daniel Gibson. Boobie Gibson was a decent guard at bench, but you got Danny Green. Like I said, Danny Green wins championships. This man went to 2 championships with the Spurs. He won 1 with the Raptors. Then he won 1 with LeBron James later on in his career. J.J. Hicks was all right, but you guys, again, Zyjunas Ilgauskas, Cedric and Daryl Jackson. Okay, so you got a veteran Antoine Jameson. You have Shaquille O'Neal. Now this was the last of O'Neal. This is the last of Shaq. Shaq was pretty much like done, but he could still do something. Anthony Parker was a sniper. Okay, this is Candace Parker's older brother. Anthony Parker, again, could get down. Okay, you leave him open, he's gonna hurt you. Yeah, Leon Powe. I believe this is the same Leon Powe that helped Boston get to the finals. Then you have Sebastian Telfair, but then you have Anderson Varejao. Look at Delonte West. Okay, yeah, Delonte West slept with his mom, but he got punished for that. Delonte West got what he had coming to him. Okay, so that's no excuses for why they couldn't beat the Boston Celtics. And then you have Mo Williams. So you mean to tell me a 61 team could not beat the Celtics? Come on now. Come on now, dude. Matter of fact, let's look at the let's look at the standings. So look at it. Boston was a 4-seeded team. Okay, remember this was in 2010. Okay, 4-seeded team. Yet they was able to make it to the NBA Finals. Yet the Cavs was a 1st seed. So again, y'all, I don't want to hear these excuses. You was a 60-win team. You had Shaq and Ilgauskas in your team, and yet you mean to tell me you couldn't beat the Celtics? Again, y'all, I don't want to hear that. I don't. Yes, Celtics had Rondo, Allen, Pearson, Garnett. They had Rasheed Wallace, and they had Nate Robinson, right, Jermaine O'Neal. But those guys are also older players too. Again, the Celtics had a better game plan. Again, and this Magic team too. Now, this is the Magics that beat them the year before that. This man lost to Orlando. Yet the Lakers was able to beat both of these teams. The Lakers beat Magic and they beat the Boston Celtics. Okay, so again, this is a 60-win team. He decided to leave them for the Miami Heat. Now we're gonna look at the Heat. Let's look at the 2011 Miami Heat. Right. All right, so they were 58-24. Again, first in their division. Eric Spoelstra, right? Pat Riley was executive, right? Look at that. Expected 61 out of 21. Look at these numbers. Because when LeBron James formed the super team, he one-sided the league. Okay, so they was a 58-win team. Now this is the team that lost to the Mavericks. Now I want you to I'm gonna look at them and we're gonna compare the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, so Joel Anthony, okay, he was not really important. Carlos Arroyo, okay, but then you got Mike Bibby, veteran Mike Bibby out of Arizona. This is the Mike Bibby who had the Sacramento Kings in the Western Conference Finals like 2 years in a row. Chris Bosh. I told y'all that before. Chris Bosh was like literally him, Wade, and Bosh, Wade, and LeBron were literally within the top 10 best players in the league at that time. Mario Chalmers, #1 draft pick. This was the only other guy that stayed. Now Darren Pierre was a veteran, but you still had Udonis Haslem, veteran. Eddie House, veteran. That's Eddie House left Boston and went over there to join the Miami Heat. Dwayne Harrod, veteran. Zy Junis, his old buddy, right? You had your whole buddy Zy. Again, why you could not beat the Dallas Mavericks? That's what you need to ask yourself. Why you couldn't beat the Dallas Mavericks? James Jones, 3-point shooting winner. I remember James Jones winning the 3-point shooting contest at least 2 years in a row in a weekend, an All-Star weekend, right? But then you had Mike Miller. Mike Miller was another quality role player. Then you had Pittman, you had Jerry Stackhouse, another veteran, and you had Dwayne Wade. So he had equal amount of veterans as the Mavericks did. Okay? And let's look at the standings. So now the Bulls, right? First seed. Now this was Derrick Rose MVP year. As good as the Bulls was, they wasn't going to beat this Miami Heat team at all. This is a team that beat Boston. He finally beats Boston in 7 games. This was pretty much the last of Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Garnett being on the top. This was the last of them. Orlando still had Dwight Howard down there, but I think this is when Hideo Turkoglu was gone. Yeah, Turkoglu was already gone by this time. I think Turkoglu went to the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, he went to either Toronto. I think he was in either Toronto or Phoenix. They still have Rashard Lewis. Rashard Lewis is still there, but Jameer Nelson, that Magic team had started going down. Now Atlanta had Joe Johnson and Josh Smith with Jeff Teague on that team, with Al Horford and Zaza Pachulia. So they were not bad. But look at Miami. Second seed just knocked off the Chicago Bulls. That was hot. Now let's look at the West. Look at Dallas, third seed. Now this is Spurs. Now Spurs had McDyess, had Richard Jefferson, Duncan, and Parker. Yet that team got swept by this Memphis Grizzlies team. But Dallas swept the Lakers in the second round. Right? This is the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, now we go look at the Mavericks roster. Let's look at the Mavericks roster. So I'm gonna show you how it was equal. Again, this man ain't got no excuses for losing championships. Let's look at the second championship he lost. Okay, this is the 2010-2011 Mavericks. They're 57. You got Rick Carlisle. Now they won more wins than Rick Carlisle did. The Heat won more wins than the Mavericks. Okay, so you got JC. Now JJ Barea was young. He was a very young man at the time. Rodrigue Benos, Corey Brewer was off the bench. They got Caron Butler. Now Caron Butler didn't even play. That's another thing. Caron Butler was out for the rest of that season. Caron Butler. For the Washington Wizards, like Brian Cardinal was. Or I think it was him, Cardinal, and Deshaun Stevenson was the players who came over there from the Washington Wizards. But you had Tyson Chandler, right? Young up and coming. He was a decent big man. Brandon Haywood, another ex-Washington Wizard, had been around a while. Dominic Jones was young, but Jason Kidd, veteran. Sean Marin, veteran. Steve Novak, right, veteran. Of course, Dirk was Dirk. Dirk was like the best power forward in the league at the time. But look at Sasha Pavlovich, LeBron James' ex-teammate that went to the finals in 2007. She was a veteran, right? Paige Story, veteran. And then veteran Jason Terry. So it was equal amount of guys. No excuses. Miami could have beaten them. You won slightly more wins than you won one more win than they did. Again, that Miami Heat was dominating the Eastern Conference. So again, why could you not beat this Dallas Mavericks team? Please, y'all, explain that. Again, LeBron James is supposed to be the GOAT, right? But he couldn't beat the Mavericks. Now let's look at the 2012. Let's look at who he had in 2012. And I'm gonna get to Steph Curry's rosters too. I'm showing y'all this, man. This man has had all this help. Now we're gonna look at the team that won the championship, right? We're gonna look at the team that let's see. let's see, 2011 to 2012. Yeah, so yeah, all right. So look at this record right there, 46 and 20. They were still first in their division. They still dominate division, right? They're supposed to 46 and 20. Okay, I want y'all to look at all that. Now let's break down this roster, right? Okay, so Joel Anthony returned, but now you have Shane Battier. You have another quality player, Shane Battier. This time, you got Norris Cole, who they drafted. You got Eddie Curry. Okay, that's another. Eddie Curry is almost like he was always like a bust, so he doesn't really matter, right? Okay, Markel Gladys, Tara Harris, Udonis Haslam, but you still have Jawan Howard, James Jones, Mike Miller. Look at Ronnie Turf and Pittman, right? Dwayne Wade and Bosh. So this team won a championship. They beat the OKC Thunder. Now, I want you to look at this roster, okay? This was LeBron James' first championship. But you have Shane Battier. Mario Chalmers was a proven first-round draft pick. You still got Udonis Haslam helping you out. You got Mike Miller, okay? Again, help, right? This team defeated the Thunder. Now, let's look at the Thunder. Let's look at who the Thunder had. Again, because of Wade and Bosh, again, they're unbeatable. He was dominating the league. So look at 47-19. So this was equal ground. 47-19. But let's look at it, right? Cole Aldridge, Nick Collison was a veteran. Then come quick, but like Kevin Durant, Derek Fisher was an old man. But you had the young James Harden, Ibaka, which they drafted. Reggie Jackson, draft pick. Kendrick Perkins, Aaron Mayer. I think Aaron Mayer was also another player they drafted. Okay, you had Kendrick Perkins. He was a veteran. But Thabo Sefolosha was a starting shooting guard. And Russell Westbrook. Okay, so they beat this team. This team was young. Okay, we gave him this credit for beating this Thunder team. Despite how good the Thunder played. And this was Westbrook and Durant when they were young, in their primes. Let's look at these standings. So as you can see, let's look at these standings. Okay, why are the Thunder up there? I don't understand that. Okay, this was all 2020 wrong. Let's see. Let's look at the standings, right? Let's see how far they did. Okay, so let's look at the Eastern Conference, right? Bulls, first seed for a second year in a row. So the East is so weak, right? Now this Pacer team, this was Paul George and Danny Granger. And I think they had Lance Stevenson, Roy Hibbert. This was not a bad Pacer team at all. Boston still had Ray Allen, Pierce, and Garnett. This was the last of them. Rondon, and this year they had Avery Bradley. Look, Hawks still had their guys. So this was the best in the East. Look, 2 years in a row now, the Bulls was the better team record-wise because you got Wade and Bosh. Again, they was able to beat the Bulls. Now let's look at the Western Conference. Spurs are still the number 1 seed. Again, this is Duncan got the same guys, right? This year, and this was Kawhi Leonard's rookie year. But he still has Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. But look how good Duncan has been doing, right? Again, this is why Duncan is a GOAT. This is why I put Duncan ahead of LeBron. Now the Thunder, again, they were second seed. This team beat the Lakers. They beat the Lakers, and they also beat Dallas. Okay, so they defeated defending this team knocked out the defending champions. They beat the defending champions. They beat the Lakers in the second round. And then they beat the Spurs in the they defeat the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. So the Thunder earned it. They truly earned it. But again, because LeBron has Wade and Bosh, okay, he has a big three. He has 2 proven all-stars. He got Shane Battier now. He got some more good role players. Again, they win a championship. Now let's go on to 2013. Now this is the most he's won, right? Look at that record, 66-16. Now again, with Wade and Bosh, this team bragged about winning they bragged about winning multiple championships, right? They go 3-peat. This is the highest they've gotten with 60. Look at 66 wins. They're not a 70 win team at all. Okay, I'm showing you on this. Right? If LeBron James was so great, how come he didn't win 70 wins? And I'm gonna get to that too. When I cover Steph Curry, but look at that, 66-16. You only got 16 losses. Now this is a Knicks team led by Carmelo Anthony. This was like Carmelo Anthony's like best year. This season in 2009, when he took Nuggets to the Western Conference Finals, that was Carmelo Anthony's two best years. Again, Pacers still had Granger and George, but I think that time they started having Luis Scola. Then they still had their core. Now this is a Brooklyn Nets team that had PG. This is when PG and Pierce got traded. Now you had PG, you've had Garnett. Yeah, you had PG. Yeah, you had no, not PG. You had KG. Excuse me. Yeah, PG was still with the Pacers. Excuse me, but you had KG, you had Pierce, you had Joe Johnson and Darren Williams with Andre Kirilenko, and you had Brook Lopez. That team still couldn't beat the Miami Heat. And this is the Bulls when they had Nate Robinson over there. Now Derrick Rose was injured. That's why the Bulls are fifth seed, because Rose didn't play because of that ACL injury he suffered the year before. But again, the Heat are dominating. Again, this is the best roster they had thus far. Out of all the championships, it's their best one, right? Okay, so again, Western Conference champions. Now we're gonna look at the East. Spurs get to the finals off a second seed. Okay, Thunder is the team now. This is Durant and Westbrook on top. Now this is when the Clippers had Chris Paul. This is when he came over there. Yeah, I think this is when that trade got vetoed, and then he came over to the Clippers. He didn't go to the Lakers. He went to the Clippers. Yet the Lakers still remain a 7th seed. But again, Thunder on top, right? But the Spurs, again, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan, right? Same team. Okay, same squad. All right. Now we're gonna look at the rosters. Let's look at the Spurs. Let's look at this roster real quick. Let's look who they beat the first year. And this is partly the Spurs' fault. They did give up. They gave up in Game 7. Look at 58-24. So they're better than them. They already was the better team. But let's look at this, right? James Anderson, Baines, right? DeJuan Blair. These are not great guys. Matt Barner been there a while. DeColo, another international player. Boris Diaw, and this was one of the veterans they picked up, which was a good pickup for them. Right? But look at Duncan Ginobili, like Danny Green. Steven Jackson actually came back. Now, Steven Jackson came back to try to win a championship ring. That's why he came there. But even though he failed, they lost the final. Steven Jackson was originally there in 2003. So, yeah, so Steven Jackson's first championship came from the Spurs anyway. So he came over here to retire. But now you have Corey Joseph, which is a decent guard. Look at that, Kawhi Leonard. You even had Tracy McGrady over here. So they defeated T-Mac, right? Kawhi Leonard, Steven Jackson, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. Look at Patty Mills, Gary Neal, and Thiago Spurs. So this is the team they beat. This is not a bad Spurs team at all. Again, this Spurs team did get to the finals that year. So I'm just showing you on this now for a reason, y'all. Okay? Now let's look at who the Miami Heat had. Because there should be no reason why LeBron should not have at least 5 or 6 NBA championships. None whatsoever. So we look at their roster right then. Now again, that Heat team just defeated at least like 5, 6 Hall of Famers. That Spurs team had at least 5 or 6 had some Hall of Famers on there. Now let's look at what they had. Now Ray Allen. Now Ray Allen just left Boston and went over here. This is the main reason why Garnett and Pierce despise Allen. They hate him with a passion. Okay, so they had Ray Allen, right? Legendary Ray Allen. But now you got Birdman, Chris Anderson. Now, Chris Anderson was one of the better big men in the league then. This is Chris Anderson that helped Carmelo Anthony and the Nuggets get to the Western Conference Finals. Right? This is the same Chris Anderson. Tatted up, mohawk, that Chris Anderson. You still had Joel and Anthony, but again, you got Shane Battier now. You still got these two. Right? Mario Chalmers and Norris Cole, they were decent guards. Look at Josh Harrison, Terrell Harris. All right, look at Udonis Haslem. You still have veteran Juwan Howard. Now this time you got Rashard Lewis. Another quality role player. Rashard Lewis. Look at, you still got Mike Miller and Dwayne Wade. So Wade, you got Miller, you got Rashard Lewis. So you got Wade, Rashard Lewis was in the 2009 NBA Finals. Ray Allen was part of the Ray Allen already went to 2 NBA championships there, along with Chris Bosh and LeBron James. Again, this was a super team. I'm showing you now. This man got max veterans. Again, why did this team three-peat? Why couldn't they not beat the Dallas Mavericks? Okay, you beat the Thunder. You just beat the Spurs team. Now, this is when it's going to get interesting. This is when it's going to get interesting right now. Let's look at the 24. Let's look at 2014. All right, let's look at 2014. They returned back to the finals. Because again, I don't want to hear all that, the excuses, this, that, now. All right, so let's look at 2014. All right, now this was Paul Pierce's best season. This was Paul Pierce. So Paul Pierce, Danny Granger was gone. This time it was Paul Pierce. You had Evan Turner, Lance Stevenson, and then you had Roy Hibbert, right, with George Hill as the point guard. This was when Paul Pierce battled Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay. Paul George, yeah, this is Paul George. Well, you had Pierce is going, but this is Paul George's initiation. Excuse me, Paul George. I'm sorry, y'all. It's been a long weekend. But yeah, Paul George. This one, Paul George of Marge is one of the best. He was like the 4th best small forward in the league. And me again, I think this is when you had LeBron James, you had KD. Now you have Paul George. Yeah, Paul George was 3rd behind KD and LeBron. And Kawhi, yeah, he was like number 4. Now the Raptors, I think they had an okay squad. This Raptors team was I forget who they had on there, but yeah, they had DeMar DeRozan. This was DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. Right? They were not that bad. This was DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, Lou Williams. This is when the Raptors started becoming a playoff team again. Now the Bulls still had Derrick Rose, but now they had DJ Augustine. They still had Luol Deng, and they still had Carlos Boozer. But that team was starting to age. They were starting to wind down. Oh yeah, and Jimmy Butler was notable on there. That's another reason why they were good, so good too, because Jimmy Butler started emerging. Yeah, this was Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler started becoming that guy. And now Washington had John Wall and Bradley Beal. That was that Wizard team. Yeah, that was the John Wall. I believe this is when Paul Pierce went over to the Wizards. Yeah, Paul Pierce had left Brooklyn and went over to Washington. Yeah, they big three is Paul Pierce, John Wall, and Bradley Beal. But now, let's look at the record. Okay, so you see the record, right? Let's look at the Western Conference. Look at Spurs. Now, again, look at that Spurs. Look at that record, 62 and 20, right? Compared to 54 and 20. But look at the Spurs. Why is the Spurs a 1st seed? Again, I'm showing you, man. I'm showing y'all this for a reason, right? Look at Thunder, still number 2. The Clippers are a 3rd seed. Look at the Rockets, right? This is the James Harden. Yeah, I think this is when James Harden was on the Yeah, James Harden was a Rocket. He's in there with that was James Harden's first year as a Houston Rocket, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's like his 1st or 2nd year as a Rocket. That was the Dwight Howard James Harden Rockets. Then it was them 2, and Trevor Ariza was also over there. Yeah, that was that Rocket team. Now this is Portland. I think Portland had Damian Lillard. This was the Damian Lillard, LaMarcus Aldridge, Portland Trailblazers. Now this was Steph Curry. Now, make note of this. This was the they lost to the Clippers in a game 7. Okay, that was the Mark Jackson Golden State Warriors. Okay, yeah, that was the Warriors team with Mark Jackson. That Clippers team lost to OKC in the 2nd round. But yeah, that Golden State Warriors team, that was Mark Jackson's last year. I think you had Steph and Clay and Draymond. That's when everybody started noticing them. That's when Steph, Clay, and Draymond started coming on the map. And they had Harrison Barnes, Andre Iguodala. You had Andrew Bogut, and then I think you had Jermaine O'Neal, and I believe you had Carl Landry over there too. Yeah, that was that Warriors team. They were just now coming in on. They were just now getting known. Right now, Memphis still had Mike Conley and Tony Allen. They weren't as good as they was the previous year. This Grizzly team went to the Western Conference Finals the previous year. But then I think Lionel Hollins was gone. He had got fired, and they had Yeager a head coach. And then Dallas, Dallas had Monte Ellis and I think Dallas had Rajon Rondo and Rajon Rondo, Monte Ellis, and no, not Montez. They had Jose Calderon. Yeah, Rondo and Calderon with Dirk Nowitzki. But again, let's look at the Spurs team real quick, right? So let's look at the let's look at the Heat's roster. Okay. Now this is a team that could have won that championship. Again, you had just won 2 back-to-back championships. This is a season when they come off 2 back-to-back championships trying to three-peat. This is the year they're supposed to three-peat. You're 54-28. I just showed you where they stand. Okay, see, now you still have Ray Allen. You still got Anderson, right? Bad egg. Now you have Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley was not a bad player at all. Michael Beasley was still decent. He was a decent player. Tony Douglas was okay. So you got Hamilton, you got somebody new over here. But you still got your veteran Udonis Haslem. It's been around forever. Again, you still got James Jones, DeAndre Liggins. Now you got veteran Roger Mason. This is a Roger Mason that played for the Spurs back in 2008 when they beat the Phoenix Suns. Greg Oden. Now this is a Greg Oden whose career was winding down. This is Greg Oden's only championship. People forgot that for Greg Oden. He actually kept playing. They gave again. I give Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley credit. They at least gave Greg Oden a chance to get a ring. This is Greg Oden was struggling. He was injured. He didn't play. He missed some time, but they needed him because he was a 7-footer. So you had Greg Oden, and you have Dwayne Wade. So again, this is a team that's getting ready to try a three-peat. Again, no excuses. LeBron James had won 2 back-to-back NBA championships. Okay? Now, we're going to look at the Spurs roster. And this is why Tim Duncan is one of the GOATs. This is why Tim Duncan is up there with Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Bill Russell. Those guys, right? He's up there with Kobe Bryant. Yeah, he's up there with Kobe, Kareem, and Michael Jordan. Let me show you the Spurs roster. This Spurs beat the Miami 62-20. Their first seed, right? This is why he's the greatest. Or one of the GOATs. Take a look at this roster here. Okay? Now, how many top-tier guys do you see? Now, Shannon Brown, I think this is Shannon Brown's, third championship. Second or third championship. I think Shannon Brown had won one with the Lakers in 2010. Yeah, I think he won one with the Lakers in 2010, 2011. Yeah, I think he was on that roster. But yeah, this is Shannon Brown's championship here. Look, you still got D.L., right? Look at Duncan Ginobili. You still got Danny Green, Corey Joseph, Kawhi Leonard, Patty Mills, Tony Parker, Tiago Springer. Look how many guys returned, right? Bangs was there last year, right? You still had Matt Bonner. Bonner been there forever, right? But now you got Marcos Bellinelli. Bellinelli was new guy. But look, you got Matt Bonner return, Boris Diaw return, Tim Duncan return, Ginobili return, Danny Green return, right? Corey Joseph return, Kawhi Leonard, Patty Mills, Tony Parker. You still got the same core. The same guys return. You got a bunch of newer guys, like younger guys. But the same guys return, the same starting five with Kawhi Leonard. And this year, Kawhi Leonard put LeBron James to shame. I mean, Kawhi Leonard tore his behind up. But notice that, right? They win more games than the Heat do, and they're champions. They beat them. This was the team that caused LeBron James to run back to Cleveland. Okay? So I'm just showing you that now. Right? Again, that's why Tim Duncan is better than LeBron James. He beat him twice now. This is the second time where Tim Duncan defeats LeBron James in the finals. Okay? Now, LeBron beat him the year before that. So, again, they were 2-1. LeBron James had a chance to tie up with Duncan and couldn't do it. Okay? So, again, LeBron James, this is the third championship he lost. You lost to Duncan the first time. You lost to Dirk Nowitzki. Now this is the second time you lost to Duncan. Right? Now it's three championships he just lost. Compared to his 2. Now he's 2-3 right now. Now let's go to 2015. Now this was the year he left. Okay. Okay, so we go look at the Warriors. Now this was Steph Curry's MVP year. This is the year they broke through. Right? Now they got past. They beat the Rockets in the Western Conference Championship. This is the year the Clippers choked away a 3-1 lead to the Rockets. And the Rockets had James Harden, Dwight Howard. You had Jay Veteran, Jason Terry. You had Josh Smith. on that team, and you also had Trevor Ariza. And I believe Eric Gordon was on there too. Right? Blazers still had Damian Lillard. They still had Dame time. I think this was C.J. McCollum. McCollum started coming on there. And Memphis still had Zebo and Mike Conley and Marc Gasol. But yeah, this was Steph Curry's MVP year. Look at that, 67-15. Okay? This is the Warriors. This is the year they emerged. This was the first championship. Now let's look at the East. Okay, so this is the Hawks. Now this was Budenholzer. Now Budenholzer had coached a team with Jeff Teague, Kyle Korver, Al Horford. Okay? Al Horford, and you had DeMar Carroll. Right? He coached that team. The Hawks team won 60 games. Now Cavaliers was a second seed. Now this was there was a second seeded team, but they still went to the finals. Bulls still had Derrick Rose and they had Jimmy Butler. They had both of those guys back healthy. And I think they still had I think Boozer might have left. But yeah, you still had Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose. Okay, Raptors had DeRozan. You still had DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. Bradley Beal and you still got Bradley Beal and John Wall. But look at the Bucks. Now this was Giannis. Giannis made the playoffs. It was him and Chris Middleton. Now Brook Lopez might have just came over there. And you had John Henson. And I think you also had you might have had Malcolm Brogdon on there. Brogdon might have been on there. I'm not all the way sure. And this is the Boston Celtics that had Isaiah Thomas and Marcus Smart. That's when Marcus Smart started showing up. I think now Brooklyn still had this was also Jay Crowder. IT Jay Crowder, and you had Marcus Smart. And this Nets team, the Nets had Joe Johnson, Paul Pierce, and KG. This is the last of them. Oh yeah, that's right. Paul Pierce wasn't on. He was in Washington. Yeah, he's still in Brooklyn. That's right. Yeah, he was still in Brooklyn. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Paul Pierce I think was still in Brooklyn. He was still in that. Yeah, he didn't go to Washington till the following season, till 2016. But yeah, my bad. Yeah, I think Paul Pierce was still here, cause they had to face Miami like 2 years in a row. But yeah, Cavaliers again. This is when LeBron left Miami, and when he left Miami, look at that. Look at Miami. Didn't make the playoffs. So again, man, Wade and Bosh had to suffer. We all know Bosh had them blood clots that ended his career, but again, they had to suffer because of him. He left, right? But everybody forgave him. He went back to Cleveland. Went to give Cleveland a championship. Now let's look at the roster. Let's look at this roster, okay? Now Mike Brown had got fired for David Black. Record, look at that, figure 725. So again, no excuses. You were a second seeded team. Now this roster, you got a much younger team, but look, you got Jared Cunningham, you got Matthew Dellavedova. Now you got Shannon Fry. You got another veteran. You got Shannon Fry, veteran. You got Joe Harris. People forgot Joe Harris was actually on that team before he went to Brooklyn. Look, Kyrie Irving was a superstar. This was Kyrie Irving. This is when Kyrie Irving was the John Morant back then. This is a Kyrie Irving that was already on the front cover of NBA Live 14. Okay? He was on the front cover on a previous video game. You got LeBron James, who was the best small forward in the league. But now you got Richard Jefferson. You got veteran Richard Jefferson, right? Veteran Dante Jones. You got James Jones, your boy from Miami, followed you. Okay, so no excuses. Shasta Khan was young. But now this is when you picked up Kevin Love. You traded Wiggins for Kevin Love. Okay? You got Timothy Monson, but now you got Iman Shumpert. You got J.R. Smith. Again, two quality veterans. J.R. Smith was a veteran player, right? Tristan Thompson, but now you got Aaron. So you still got Aaron Varejao and Mo Williams. So again, no excuses. You got some players. You got help. Now let's look at what Steph Curry had. And we're gonna look at the very first championship roster that Curry had since his time with the Golden State Warriors. I want y'all to take a look at this. So 67-15, okay? Steve Kerr, right? This is Steph Curry became the MVP elite. Now, Leandro Barbosa, yeah, his career was going down nowhere fast until he came to the Warriors. Harrison Barnes was a starting small forward. This is pretty much like Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins is a slightly better version of him. I say Wiggins is slightly better. Wiggins is a little bit more athletic than Barnes. But now you have Andrew Bogut. Look, you got Festus Ezeli. Look at Justin Holiday. Justin Holiday, that's ironic. He's a champion like Drew. Drew, yeah, the Holidays are both champions. But look at Andre Iguodala. You got Kuzma, who didn't even play. David Lee. Now, David Lee was there for a very long time. Again, David Lee was around when Steph Curry first got drafted. David Lee was there when they still had Steven Jackson. Even when Baron Davis left, he was there for a long time. But look, now you got Sean Livingston. You got a veteran there. You got Sean Livingston. James Michael McAdoo. This is McAdoo's child. This is his son, I believe. One of his relatives. Brandon Rush, Maurice Space, and Klay Thompson. So look, you got Klay. Look, Klay, Draymond, Klay and Draymond, right? Again, this is the first championship. This team won 62 wins. Okay? Won the championship that year. They beat LeBron James. Yes. Kevin Love. Yes. Kyrie Irving got injured, but it's no excuses. You had other guards. I just showed you that. He had other point guards. Now, let's go to 2016. Now, this was no Kevin Durant at all. There was no All-Stars on that team. That was mostly all draft picks. And I'm not making note of this. Guys like Barbosa and Livingston, they was not top-tier players at all. They was not all-star players. They were just good role players. Now, let's go to 2016, right? Now, the Cavaliers are on top. Look at 57-25. Okay? Now, again, I think Miami had, they still had Wade. Yeah, I think they still had Dwayne Wade this year. Miami didn't do bad at all. This was Hassan Whiteside. Look at the Hawks, but look at the Celtics. Again, but look at the Celtics. They're 5th seed. Marcus Smart, Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder. I think this is when Marcus Smart started coming around. But yeah, so you're 57-25. Let's look at Steph Curry's team. 73-9. Now, they topped the Michael Jordan 72-10. Steph Curry was the only other player to do that. He is the only superstar captain that ever won more games than Jordan in the regular season. And yes, he lost to LeBron this year, but again, 73-9. How come LeBron James couldn't do that? Again, LeBron James was on Miami all that time. He could not win 70 games. That's a problem there. This is why he's not the GOAT. Look at the Spurs. Look at the Spurs, right? They're still the 2nd seed. That's Kawhi Leonard and Duncan. Duncan and Jerome Parker are still there. The Spurs, right? Led by Kawhi Leonard is the 2nd seed. And then this year, Thunder gave up a 3-1 lead to the Warriors. Look at the Clippers. You still had, but look at that, right? Look at that competition. But look at Warriors, 73-9. Now let's look at the roster. I'm gonna show you. Same set of guys. Nothing changed. So look at it, right? The same dudes. Look at Kevon Looney. This was Kevon Looney's, I think, rookie year. I'm showing you now. Look at the same core. Same set of guys. And you had Andre Iguodala was their 6th man, right? Look at this. Same set of guys. And each time, man, Andre Iguodala took and I'm going to tell you now, Andre Iguodala was not the dude. Yeah, Andre Iguodala won the Finals MVP the season before, but he was not the guy. Okay, he was not that. Again, Paul George, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Kawhi Leonard were all better or all ranked higher than Andre Iguodala. I'm going to tell you that right now off the top. Andre Iguodala was not that dude. And then Giannis started emerging. So I'm just telling you now, right? Steph Curry is just the best player in this decade, in the last decade right now. Look at who all came right. So you still got Barbosa, you still got Barnes, you got Bogut, right? Now you got Ian Clark, who they picked up. That was a draft pick they picked up. You still got Steph Curry, but you got Festus Ezeli, Draymond Green, Iguodala and Livingston still there. Kevon Looney is young. You still got McAdoo. Now you got Brandon Rush. You still got Maurice Space. You got Jason Thompson. Now you got Klay Thompson. You still got Klay. This is when Verjao came over there. Verjao came over there to try to get a Marine. Yeah, I think the Warriors might have the Cavs might have traded him, or I think Verjao might have left. I think he might have got traded, but yeah. 73-9. Okay. As good as people say LeBron James is, he never won 70 games. Again, Steph Curry has this under his belt. 73-9. Steph Curry becomes unanimous MVP that season. So yeah, even though Andre Iguodala won Finals MVP the season before, Steph Curry was still the MVP that season. So again, y'all, no excuses. Now let's look at who the Cavs had. Now this is the Cavs who beat the Warriors. They beat this Warriors team, so I'm gonna give it that. This was LeBron James. This was his best championship. More so than Lakers. This is the best championship he had. Now, this is a lie. David Black got fired. It was Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue took over. It was Tyronn Lue's first ever championship as a head coach. Look at that. All right, you still got Cunningham, you got Dover. Look, Shannon Fry still there. You still got Joe Harris, Kyrie Irving, right? Again, Richard Jefferson, Dante Jones. Sasha Kuhn was young, but look, you still got Kevin Love. You still got Mon. You got Shumpert and Smith. Look, you still got the same guys. So again, what's wrong? What's wrong with this team? I don't understand it. Again, man, why you couldn't win more championships with the squad? You just beat the 7-3-9 team, right? Now, why you couldn't beat them? Now we're gonna look at 2017, right? Let's look at 2017. Now, this was Kevin Durant's free agency year. Kevin Durant chose to go to the Warriors. Now, let me explain this now. I just showed you that Steph Curry just won an NBA championship and went 7-3-9 without KD. KD chose Curry, not Curry chose KD. Right? Look, Spurs still second seed. Kawhi Leonard. This is when Kawhi Leonard was leading the San Antonio. He became the dude. Yeah, Duncan was pretty much done. He was gone. Duncan had retired. Kawhi Leonard was still the man. Right? You still got James Harden on the Rockets. You still got the Clippers, right, and the Jazz. This is the Gordon Hayward Jazz. I mean, this is a Jazz team when they had Gordon Hayward, you had Shelvin Mack, Rodney Hood, you had George Hill, and I think you had Rudy Gobert. That Jazz team beat the Clippers in the first round. But again, look at that Warriors team. Let's look at the East. Now, you defending champions, but look at the Celtics. Now, this was Isaiah Thomas when Isaiah Thomas was up for MVP year. This was his best season. Isaiah Thomas. I think you had Marcus Smart, Jay Crowder, Kelly Olynyk was there. Yeah, Kelly Olynyk. Yeah, they didn't have a bad team. That was Brad Stevens. Okay, this is when this was Isaiah. This was IT's best year. Little Isaiah Thomas, not Bad Boys Isaiah Thomas, not the Hall of Famer, but little IT. But Cavaliers still a second seed. They're 51-31, so they still have a respectable record. Okay. But now let's look at the roster. And again, now you got Kyle Korver, right? And by the way, Kyle Korver was also on that on that roster that beat the that defeated Golden State. Make note of that. He was on that roster, but let's look at the 2016-2017 Cavs. So Tyronn Lue. Right, David Griffin is still his GM. Now the roster is a little bit more deeper. Yeah, you got a little bit more deeper. Okay. 2016, then this is 2017, right? Look at Birdman, Chris Sexton. Now you got Bogut, right? They tried to get from the Warriors. You got Mike Dunleavy, another veteran. Mike Dunleavy, right? You still got Shannon Fry. You still got Kyrie Irving. You still got veteran Richie Johnson. You still got veteran Dante Jones. You still got Kyle Korver, right? You got James Jones, right? You still got Kevin Love, Iman Shumpert, Jerry Smith. Larry Sanders was a quality big man. He was not a bad big man at all. Now you got veteran Darren Williams, who at one time was one of the best point guards in the league behind Chris Paul and Tony Parker. So again, no excuses. All right, no excuses at all. But that team lost 4-1 to the Warriors. Now, let's look at the Warriors rosters. Now, in Durant's case, if you can't beat him, you got to join him. Let's look at the Warriors. So, again, look at that. Same guys, right? Same core. So, now they're 67-15. So, they're not quite 7-3-9, but they're 67-15. Now, this time, you got Matt Barnes. Okay? A veteran who was not an all-star. He was that good of a player. But you got Matt Barnes this time. You got KD. Now, KD is the only all-star free agent they picked up. The only guy. Okay, just make note of that. He is the only All-Star free agent that chose to join him. They didn't even need Kevin Durant at all. He chose to go over there, right? But this time they got JaVale McGee. Now JaVale McGee was struggling. Look at JaVale McGee, Zaza Pachulia. These guys were struggling big men. Yeah, if they not went to the Warriors, their career would have already been over. You still got Anderson Varejao. You got Brian T. Weber, and you got David West. David West, Zaza Pachulia, JaVale McGee, and Matt Barnes, right? Their careers were struggling. Now, these are big men who weren't as good or exciting as J.R. Smith was. Okay? These are struggling guys. But they were able to win a championship. But again, the Warriors really didn't even need KD. They would have went to the finals again because nobody was beating Steph, Clay, and Draymond. All Kevin Durant did was give LeBron a taste of his own medicine by making him a super team. Now LeBron James got the taste of what it feels like to get beat by a super team. Now let's look at 2018. So the Warriors, this was James Harden's, I believe, MVP season. This is when you had him and Chris Paul on the same team. But now the Warriors are still a second seed. They're 58-24. Okay, you still got Damian Lillard is a guy is up there off the top. Russell Westbrook was still with the Thunder. Right, I think that was his MVP year. Yeah, I think he was MVP the following season. Yeah. Russ was the MVP the following year. This is when we had Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. Right, and Utah still got their squad from the previous season. But again, look at the Warriors. They had the Rockets. They weren't even the best team going off, but they still made it to the finals. Now the Cavaliers are a 4 seed. Now look at this, right? He's supposed to be the GOAT, right? But look at that. Toronto, again, DeMar DeRozan. This was his best season. Him and Kyle Lowry, right? And I think this is when you had they started having Pascal Siakam over there. Yeah, I think this is when Pascal Siakam started get drafted over there. And they started picking up Kyle Van Vliet. Look at the Celtics. Now this was Kyrie Irving, Boston Celtics. Yeah, this was 2018. This is when Kyrie Irving left and went to Boston. And they had Gordon Hayward. Yeah, they had Gordon Hayward over there. Yeah, they had Gordon Hayward. I think, yeah, this is when the Jazz had Donovan Mitchell. But the Celtics had Gordon Hayward. You had Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. This is when they came in with Terry Rozier. 55-27. The Cavaliers played them in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then Philadelphia had Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. They're a 4-seeded team, yet you still made it to the finals. Now let's look at the rosters. Let's look at who he got. This is the year he got swept. Now I'm gonna tell you why he got swept. Now again, they're a 4-seeded team. Now the main reason why this Cavaliers team got swept, for one, Derrick Rose, Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder. These guys all got traded. Okay, they were all traded. Okay, they were gone. You traded him for Rodney Hood, Larry Nance Jr., and you had Jordan Clarkson over there. Guys who weren't near on that level. And had he kept Isaiah Thomas, Dwayne Wade, and had he kept Jay Crowder, this team might have had a chance against Golden State. They could have probably they could have won more games. They could have won at least 3 games out that series. Jay Crowder has proven that he could get to the finals. This is Jay Crowder that was in 2 back-to-back finals in the last 3 years. He was on Miami in the bubble, then he went to Phoenix and helped Devin Booker and them get to the finals. There was nothing wrong with Jay Crowder at all. Dwayne Wade was a veteran point guard. He was his veteran shooting guard that he won 2 championships with. He went to 4 championships in a row with Dwayne Wade and Derrick Rose, right? LeBron James, being LeBron, had to change up the roster. Excuse me. Okay? The main reason why that team lost, because again, Tyronn Lue's roster changed. So I'm going to let you know that right off the top. For some reason, man, Derrick Rose, the Cavaliers traded the wrong guys. So they got swept. Now let's look at Steph Curry. Let's look at this. Let's look at this roster. So as you see, same guys, except now you got Quinn Cook. Right? Look at same guys. David West still there. Now you got Swaggy P, another struggling veteran. That career was going nowhere. Would have never been a champion until you joined Steph. Look, you got Omer Caspi from San Antonio. Come on now. Oh yeah, shouts out to Jordan Bell. I had a chance to talk to Jordan Bell, meet him a couple times at my boy Howard Harris's barbershop. Go on Instagram and go type in at Howard Harris and go get your haircut from him. Book your appointment. This is Jordan Bell's hairstylist. Right? But again, look at this roster here. But you still got KD again. 2 back-to-back NBA Finals. They gave LeBron James a taste of his own medicine. This is the second time where LeBron James gets swept in the NBA Finals. No excuses. You supposed to be the greatest, right? But you got swept twice. And he beat Kevin Durant. So there's no excuses right there at all. He beat Kevin Durant when he had a super team. Now, again, Miami and LeBron got a taste of his own medicine. LeBron James caused that to happen. He caused KD to do this. Desperate for a championship ring. All Kevin Durant did the same thing LeBron did. Right? But the one thing about KD, he left Golden State in 2019. He left. KD left. He didn't stay on his team after 2019. Now let's look at the 2019. Let's look at 2019, right? Yeah, let's look at 2019. Now I'm not going to bring up LeBron James because he was on the Lakers and he didn't make the playoffs. Right? Matter of fact, let's look at that roster. This is when they actually changed. This is when they lost to the Raptors. They lost to the Raptors with Kawhi Leonard. Look at now, they're still 57-25. Now this was Steph Curry's fourth. This was the 5th NBA championship. Look at Jordan Bell. You still got Bogut. Bogut came back. You got Bogut. You got Quinn Cook, but now you got Boogie, right? Another struggling big man. A struggling veteran who's not an all-star. Again, none of the veterans that Steph Curry got, the other free agents that Steph Curry that came to join the Warriors were all-stars. Right? Except Kevin Durant. Iggy wasn't even an all-star like that neither when he came over. Matter of fact. At least I think Iggy was the only exception. But again, in the last 2-3 seasons, none of these guys were all-star players. Look at Jacob Evans, right? Nobody. Look at Jones Jabrecko. Right? Another guy that was struggling. Damian Jones, Damian Lee. Look, you still got Kevin Looney, but now you got McKinley, right? This team lost to the Raptors. Yeah, we know KD was injured, right? And then Klay Thompson got injured in Game 6, but they made no excuses. Steph made no excuses for losing. Even though he lost his championship, that man still signed an extension and stayed on that team. Now let's look at 2022. I'm gonna show y'all something. Let's take a look at the roster he just won with. Okay? Let's look at these guys, right? Look at Jordan Poole. Right? You still got Steph here. You still got Kevon Looney, right? You got this guy here. You still got Klay. You still got Iggy. Iggy didn't even play that much at all. Moses Moody, right? Look at all these young guys. Gary Payton's son. Gary Payton. This man can finally say he's a champion like his father. Now you got James Warren. Look at it. Look at it. You still got Damian Lee came back. But look at Andrew Wiggins. Look at you back. Ben Jacob. Look at Wiggins. Now, Wiggins was suffering all this time. This is Andrew Wiggins who LeBron did not have enough faith in at all. LeBron traded him for Kevin Love. Now look what happened. Wiggins just proved he could win a championship on a quality team. With the right kind of players, he can win a championship. This is why Steph Curry is better than LeBron James. Look at this roster. This roster is almost equivalent to what he had in 2015. Mostly all younger guys. All these guys are young. These are our first, second, and third year guys. Wiggins is 26 years old. Look at Poole. Poole's in his third year. The only veterans on his team is Iggy, Klay, Draymond, Looney, and Steph himself. So again, I don't want to hear the excuses no more. Y'all need to stop it. This is why Steph Curry is better than LeBron James. Because he don't need to recruit the guy. Steph Curry stayed on his team and made it work with what he had. Just like Giannis did last year. Giannis Antetokounmpo did the same thing with what he had. That man had Drew Holiday, that man had Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez, who he played with for the last 3 or 4 years. Now I want to show y'all something. I want y'all to take a look at this video.
Same team.
Who else you want to play with? In today's game, Steph Curry. Man, I love everything about that guy. And that lethal, man. When he get out his car, you better guard him right from the moment he pulls up to the arena. As soon as he get out of his car, you better guard him.
Now, this was earlier this season, right? LeBron James already letting you know he wants to play with the Warriors. He's interested in playing for Golden State. That's why Stephen A. Smith on First Take was breaking up the conversation of him playing with the Warriors. LeBron James already think about leaving the Lakers, right? Because they suffering. They losing games. They're not making the playoffs.
Guard him, better guard him on the clock. You might want to guard him when he get out of the bed. Parking deck. Swear to God. He's serious. He's serious.
Some people are going to hear that and say, oh, that's no big deal. LeBron was just responding to a question. Wrong. LeBron knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that his words make headlines. He is probably the smartest player in the league. LeBron is always recruiting.
You're going to recruit because...
Oh, I've always recruited.
All right.
This is why he's not the GOAT. This is why I talk about LeBron James the way I do and I critique him the way I do. If you look at all the Hall of Famers, I'm talking about the top GOATs. Not Robert Horry. But I'm talking about the guys who got championships. You look at the Bill Russells. You look at the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, the Magic Johnsons. You look at the bad boys Isaiah Thomas. You look at Larry Bird. You look at Tim Duncan. Right? And then you take a look at Paul Pierce and Dirk Nowitzki. All these guys won championships on the same team they were with. Hakeem Olajuwon won 2 championships back-to-back with the Houston Rockets. With the same guys. Otis Thorpe and Kenny Smith and Robert Horry. Okay? Same guys. Again, I'm talking about the top GOATs. Greatest of all time. Even the logo Jerry West stayed on the Lakers. Went to 8 NBA championships, then as a GM won 5. Traded Kobe Bryant and traded for Shaq that resulted in 5 more NBA championships. Shaq, right? Shaq left the Lakers, went to Miami and won a championship. And he didn't need no other all-stars on that team. He did it with older guys, the squad he had. Shaq didn't need nobody else. This man here been recruiting for years. Okay? Michael Jordan didn't need to recruit nobody. Kobe Bryant didn't need to recruit nobody in the championships he won. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar made it work with everybody in Showtime. Kareem said, all I need is Magic Johnson and James Worthy. Y'all done gave me Mark Cooper and y'all done gave me Byron Scott. I'm going to make it work with those guys. I'm going to make it work with Vlade Divac. This man got to keep recruiting. I just showed you all the championships he lost. This man had to leave and keep recruiting. Okay?
Always recruited. I mean, I don't know. Is this something new? I've been recruiting. I've been trying to get guys to come play with me since like 2007. I've got rejected a lot, but I've also have not got rejected.
And one of those times that he got rejected is when he tried to recruit Steph last year before he was a free agent, but Steph re-signed on the Warriors.
See, look at that, right? Steph stayed true to the same squad, right? Same team. Steph said, I'm not leaving. I'm staying loyal. Steph could easily jump ship and went to the Lakers. He could have easily went to the Charlotte Hornets where his dad played at. He could have went anywhere else. He could have went to the Mavericks with Luka Doncic. He could have went anywhere. But Steph stayed loyal to the same team. Now, let's look at LeBron James' last championship. Right? Let's look at the 2020, let's look at the bubble Lakers. Let's look at this Laker team, right? 52-19. They won the bubble championship, right? Now look at all the guys he had, right? Avery Bradley, veteran. Look, you got Quinn Cook. You got Quinn Cook now. You got Caruso, right? White. Look, you got Anthony Davis. You got Jared Dudley, another veteran. Danny Green, veteran. Dwight Howard, veteran. JaVale McGee, veteran. This is JaVale McGee that went to 3 NBA finals and he went to 3 NBA finals with the Warriors. Look at Marquise Morris, veteran. Rondo, veteran. J.R. Smith, veteran, right? Deion Waiters. Again, why you couldn't keep the same team the following season? Why do you have to go and get Dennis Schroeder? Why you have to go and get Montrezl Harrell? Why you have to go and get Andre Drummond? Why keep the same guys? You see that? Now, y'all wonder why the Lakers are where they are now because they didn't keep the same guys. Dwight Howard didn't stay put. Okay, he didn't keep the same guys. Again, he didn't keep Caruso. He didn't keep Kuzma and all. These guys are gone. Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball and Josh Hart got traded. And that's who Magic Johnson was trying to keep on there with AD. I'm just showing you this now. LeBron James destroys rosters and then he leaves. So if y'all want to know why the Lakers are 9 and more championships, now you know why. Most of these guys are all gone. Kuzma gone. JaVale McGee gone. Rondo left. Okay? He didn't keep none of these guys on there. Try to be greedy. He told Rob Pelinka and G.D. Buss to trade for Russell Westbrook, okay? So I don't want to hear this no more, right? LeBron James is not the GOAT. He ain't. He's just not, man. But that's it, y'all. That's the video. Like, subscribe, comment if you feel like. But I hope this sheds light on why I put Steph Curry above LeBron. Because Steph Curry stayed on his same team. Again, these guys battled out for 4 years in a row. 4 years in a row. Okay? 4 years in a row, we got these two in the finals with the same team. Except LeBron decided to leave Cleveland for a second time. You left Dan Gilbert. After all Dan Gilbert did for you, left him second time, twice. Twice you leave him. And losing an NBA championship at that. Where this man on the left stayed on his team. He stayed loyal to the end. Steph stayed on the Warriors. And because he stayed loyal and made it work with what he had, the man got 4 championships just like LeBron has. Again, Steph is putting pressure on LeBron. This is Steph Lee. This man is on his way out. Steph is the GOAT. Sorry I have to tell you that. It's just the facts. It's just truth. I know, of course, everybody got their own opinion. I guess I'll let you know what it is. Anyways, y'all, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Y'all stay blessed.